word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary, hosted by me, Spencer. This is episode F142. This episode is airing on April 15th, tax day in the United States. If the IRS still exists, who knows? Hope you got your taxes in. All right, let's get into the words. I feel like, do I gotta rotate this thing? Something feels off here. Maybe it's my head, which is very possible. All right, the first word in this episode is flowerage. Flowerage. Noun from 1840. This is a flowering process, state, or condition. Any of those situations that we talked about in the previous episode about things that are flowering and blooming and blossoming. It's in a state of flowerage, I guess? Sure, why not? All right, it is sound effect time, everybody. I got a message from somebody. It's an incredibly rare occurrence for me to get a message from anybody. But they sent me a message on the dictionary Instagram, which is at dictionarypod. And they said that they get a giggle every time they listen to my show on their way to work. And first of all, I was very touched by that. I just want to give you a bit of a giggle. But where was I going with this? Oh, they said that they've been. Oh, I asked. Are they going from the beginning? What's their process like? And they said that they started in the B's, they're in the C's, and then they jumped to listen ahead to the F's a little bit, and they said, and you're meowing like a cat. So I feel like I missed something. I was like, yes, at some point I started making sound effects between each of the words, and so they happened to hear an episode where I was meowing like a cat. But today, in this episode, I shall not be meowing like a cat. I shall be going whip. Okay, the next word is flower bud. 2 words. Noun from 1703. This is a plant bud that produces only a flower. That's all it produces. It doesn't make anything else but a flower. It doesn't make a plant. It doesn't make a burger. It just makes a flower. Now we have flower bug. 2 words, noun from circa 1889. Any of various small, mostly black and white, predaceous bugs that frequent flowers and feed on pest insects. So they are mostly black and white. Let's look up a flower bug. I want to see this black and white flower bug. Does it look like it existed in the 1920s when everything was black and white? That's a fake thing to say. Oh, interesting. Now this picture does have some yellow on it as well. Let's see. Okay, I guess it sort of depends on the bug. But yeah, it looks like it's got a black front, and then the middle is kind of whitish or yellowish, lighter color, and then there's like 2 triangles of black. Maybe those are the ends of the wings, and then the butt. The butt is pretty white. But then there's another one that has a much more complex pattern with like dots and other diamonds and triangles and stuff. Yeah, interesting. So flower bug. Now it says that they are predaceous, which makes me think predator because they do feed on pest insects. But I guess it's spelled a little bit differently than how I would think it would be spelled, predaceous. So maybe that's an adjective that it is describing them in a certain way. Whether or not it's related to being a predator, I'm not sure. Seems like it would be, but we won't know. We just won't know until we get to the P's. The family name for these little flower buggers is Anthocoridae, and examples of the pest insects that they feed on are aphids and thrips. And I've never heard of a thrip, Thrip. Interesting. Okay, well, we got so many more bugs to learn about in the future. Okay. Next, we have flower child. 2 words, noun from 1967. This is a hippie who advocates love, beauty, and peace. I am definitely an advocate for those things. Less about beauty. Everything is beautiful. Literally, everything is beautiful. But love and peace are definitely things. So I guess you could call me a little bit of a flower child. I'm not running through the fields with flowers in my hair or anything like that. Although I could fit a lot of flowers up in this hair, this bird's nest of hair today. But yes, I really relate to this concept, this feeling, and I will own that for my whole life. I will never stopping promoting love and peace, and I guess beauty, just to say, look at how beautiful everything is. I will promote it in that way for sure. Okay, flower child. Are there like songs of the flower child? I'm sure there's many things. When you're going to San Francisco. Okay, moving on to... We now have floweret. So it is the word flower with ET at the end, or ETTE. Noun from just from the 15th century. The synonym is floret, which is, I guess, coming up in this episode. No. Sorry, I'm mistaking my alphabet and my letters and my spelling. Floret was way back here, which is a small flower. Yep, that's pretty much what I expected it to be. Floret or floweret. Either word is fine. Now we have flower girl. 2 words. Noun from 1902. We did not have the word flower boy. Where's the flower boy? What if the boy wants to do this? Well, what is a flower girl? Let's talk about that first. A little girl who carries flowers at a wedding. Why can't a flower boy do this? I am sure that there are young boys who would love to be carrying the flowers and putting the flowers down on the aisle, along the aisle as they were walking. These are some of the cutest things ever. Not the people exactly, I'm not going to call them a thing, but the situation of them dressed all nice and putting the flowers down is very cute. But then it's even funnier and cuter when they get all embarrassed or sort of get a little extra dramatic with it. Oh, there's some fun videos out there. I'm trying to remember the connection. An ex family that I used to be a part of, great people, but I'm not part of their life anymore. They had a little girl, and I think she was the flower girl. And then I think later that day, she said, she was like 4 years old, 5 years old, something. She said, "Can I be in your wedding tomorrow?" Because she thought she could do it again the next day, tomorrow. It was very cute. Okay, now, and then they get distracted. They're like looking at all the people because everybody's staring at them. It's pretty funny. Flower girl, that was flower girl. Now we are moving on to... This is getting ridiculous. Flower head, 2 words. Noun from 1842. This is a capitulum, as of a composite, having sessile flowers so arranged that the whole inflorescence looks like a single flower. Whoa. Let's look up this flower head. It's got a bunch of flowers, but it looks like it's just one big flower. Is that what it's trying to tell me? Where's the H on this thing? There it is. A flower head. No. What you're showing me is pictures of people's heads with flowers on them, and that is not helpful. It's accurate, but it's not helpful. I guess I have to look up capitulum as well. Where's the P? If you didn't know, I have a music stand right here in front of me with the book, and the keyboard is below that. Here we go. Oh, yeah, so sunflowers. I don't remember. I recently heard this. I don't think it was part of the dictionary. I think it was something else. That somebody said that the sunflowers are a composite of a bunch of flowers all together that look like one big flower. So yeah, sunflowers are a really good example of a flower head, And I'm sure that there are plenty of other ones, but mostly I'm seeing sunflowers here. Yeah. Okay, now we're going on to flowering dogwood. 2 words, noun from 1843. A common spring flowering, what? A common spring flowering, usually white bracketed dogwood. Okay, there's so many adjectives that I got confused on how to say that. So it is a dogwood. It is common. It flowers in the spring. It's usually white bract. I think I said bracketed. It's bract. And the species name is Cornus florida. And of course, we talked about florid and all of those other flower-related words a few episodes ago, so you can go look back at that. But Cornus, is that related to dog something? So it's carn. What's the dog word? Something. Dog. And I don't know why we use dogwood here. I'm sure maybe when we had the word dogwood, we talked about it, but I can't remember. It's the dogwood that flowers, so it's the flowering dogwood. Next is flowering plant. 2 words, noun from 1745. The synonym is angiosperm, which, is that just a plant that flowers? Probably, why not? Let's just say that it is. Flower people is next. Maybe the flower people are made up of flower children. It is a noun from 1967. Oh, the synonym is literally just flower children. So earlier we had flower child. The plural of that is flower children. And they make up the group of the flower people. Ah, the flower people. Putting flowers in guns as a protest. I do support the nonviolent protesting. And there might be a lot more protesting in our future. Just yesterday, I'm recording this on March 23rd. Just yesterday, we were talking about how that there are protests popping up around the country, protesting the government. People on both sides, I think, are doing this protesting, and so by the time this episode airs, there's probably going to be a lot more protests. And maybe there's going to be some flower people involved in those protests. Next is flower pot. 1 word, noun from 1583. A pot in which to grow plants. It's very, very spot on, very on the nose. I'm not a person who deals with plants and flowers. I don't grow them, so I'm not buying flower pots. I do water the plants that we have here in the office because I'm really one of the only people who regularly comes into the office anymore these days. And so I'm the one who has to flower them. And so I have to go to all the different flower pots and water the plants that are in those flowers. Although, I'm trying to think, there's not a lot of flowers. Are there any flowers? They're just plants. I don't think we have any flowers. But they're in flower pots. Next is flower power. 2 words, noun from 1967. Oh, so let's look. Flower child, 1967. Flower people, 1967. Flower power, 1967. This is a nonviolent ethic as advocated by hippies. Do you think hippies like the term hippies? I think some of them probably do. Do they still like it? Did they like it more now, and now that they're older, maybe they don't like it so much? Do you describe yourself as a hippie? Oh, I should get a real authentic hippie on the hippie episode. Flower power. Flower power. Please and thank you. Next is flowery. Flower with a Y, adjective from the 14th century. Number 1, of, relating to, or resembling flowers. Is it kind of like a flower? It's flowery. Number 2, marked by or given to rhetorical elegance, as in flowery speeches. Rhetorical elegance is such a phrase, such a 2-word phrase, marked by or given to rhetorical elegance. So I sort of think of flowery speech as using a lot of fancy words, talk in the way that I don't talk because I have a very small vocabulary and I just use the same words over and over again. So I would never say rhetorical elegance. It's very elegant, but it's rhetorical. But rhetorical makes me think of, that's a rhetorical question. But I'm sure there's other definitions of rhetorical that I don't know of, I'm not thinking of. So that's flowery speech. Flowerily is an adverb, and floweriness is a noun. Okay, that was the last flower word, unless we got some other, completely different ones. Now we go on to flow meter. It measures the flow. Noun from 1915. An instrument for measuring one or more properties of a flow. And examples of these properties are velocity or pressure. So how fast the flow is going and how much pressure is behind it and making it move fast or slow. And then also the flow, what are types of flow? The liquid in a pipe. That's an example of a flow. So you gotta put an instrument inside of the flowing liquid in a pipe. Maybe it's your sink pipe. And I guess that's maybe not the best example because there's not like liquid flowing constantly. But anyway, you put a thing in there, and then all of the liquid is flowing past this instrument, and it's going to pick up. It's got all these sensors, I'm guessing, and it's going to figure out the speed of the flow and maybe how much pressure is behind it. Because some things you want to have very high pressure, and some things you want to have low pressure. I go to sinks in bathrooms in restaurants all the time, and I have very strong opinions about the bathrooms in general, but especially the sink. And sometimes I'm like, this is too much pressure. This is not enough pressure. What? You got to get a flow meter up in here so you can fix this. You can figure out what's going on, and just get it fixed, please. The flow meter. Next is the first form of the word flown. This is the past form of the word fly. Now we have the second form of flown. Adjective from 1626. It means, filled to excess. This is very interesting. It is an archaic version of the word flow. So yeah, well, you look at all the definitions of flow, and it's related to flood. And so when something is filled to excess, you fill your cup all the way, then it is flown because you flowed liquid into it, maybe a little too much, and it's flown. Yeah, so basically this looks like it's the archaic version of filled, something like that. Your cup is flown. Can you, when you're giving me a drink, please, can you make it a flown drink? I want it filled to excess, maybe where it's overflowing. Yeah. Now we have flow sheet. 2 words, noun from 1912. The synonym is flowchart. There was also flow diagram in the previous episode. The flow sheet. It's a piece of paper. It's a sheet of paper with all the flows drawn on it. Now we have flowstone. 1 word, noun from 1925. Calcite deposited by a thin sheet of flowing water, usually along the walls or floor of a cave. So as the water is flowing and going, there's little pieces of, well, they call it calcite. Would it be calcium? A version of calcium, maybe, in tiny little particles, and it just leaves them on the floor or the walls of the cave as it flows. And so as time goes on, the cave is building up. I think also the stalactites and the stalagmites are also like the ones coming down from the ceiling. It's water dripping very, very slowly. And as the water goes down, especially when it gets to the end, it leaves tiny little particles on the end of that stalagtite. I think the ones on the top are the tights. And it leaves it, and then the water drops, and it left a little something. So that's how those things are growing. So flowstone is the actual calcite that is deposited as the water is flowing. Flowstone. Now we have an abbreviation which is FL, second word, OZ. FLOZ. You could call it flows if you wanted to. It stands for fluid ounce. If you've ever cooked or baked, you've probably come across flaws. Now we have FLSA, all caps, abbreviation for Fair Labor Standards Act. Ooh, this sounds like a thing that tried to make it standard across the country to have fair labor or very specific things that are fair labor. Maybe the 40-hour work week was part of that. The weekend might have been part of that. The fair labor, it doesn't have a year, and unfortunately, I don't know my history well enough to tell you more about this or when this came to be, but it seems right. I definitely know at a certain point in time, they had to make the standard. You gotta work this many hours. That's the standard work week, and, you gotta be a certain age and all those sorts of things. All right, moving on to, it's a big one. It's flu, F-L-U. Noun from 1839. Number 1, the synonym is influenza. And of course, this word comes from that. The etymology just says by shortening. So we took influenza, we shortened it to flu. Number 2, any of several virus diseases marked especially by respiratory or intestinal symptoms. And I, just a week ago, had the stomach flu. And I think I mentioned that maybe right after I did that. I recorded an episode, and it was not the worst, but it was not the most fun at all. Not a fun situation. Okay, so winter time tends to be the time. It's flu season. Everybody's systems are sort of down and weak, and they say that's the time. Before that is the time that you got to get the flu shot. Not everybody gets the flu shot. Some people just sort of risk it, and largely it is not something that's gonna kill you, but it's gonna make you sick. And if you're around people who are immunocompromised, it could really do a number on them. And so and it just sucks. It just sucks to get the flu. And there's different kinds, as we just learned. It's either going to be intestinal, right? It's dealing with your digestive system, or respiratory. It's dealing with your lungs. And that doesn't sound fun either. I don't want to get the flu. Flu-like is an adjective. Now we have the word flub. First form verb from 1904, starting with transitive. This is to make a mess of, and the synonym is botch. As in, flubbed my lines. When I was a kid, let's see. When I was a kid, I got these books. They were the word flub was in the title. I can't remember the whole title, but it was about flubs in movies. And I don't think people are really using that word to describe these things in movies anymore, but I still use the word flub because of these books. And it was all about, weird, like a gladiator from the, 1,000 years ago was wearing like a modern day watch. Or of course there's the classic recent one of where in Game of Thrones they had a Starbucks cup in there. And so these are things like continuity errors, like, in this shot they were smoking a cigarette and the ash was only this long, and then in the next shot you see the ash is this long instead, and what happened there? So it was a whole list and with pictures and everything of these mistakes in movies, and I had such a good time going through those books and seeing all the problems in movies. But yes, the action. Flubbed my lines. Oh, sorry. I was supposed to say I went to the store, but instead, I said, go to hell. All right, next, we have the intransitive for flub, which is the synonym blunder. I am known, I think, for flubbing. Just living my life flubbing. Every day I'm flubbing in. The origin of this is unknown, so somebody just made it up in 1904-ish. Now we have the second form of the word flub, noun from 1900. This one's a little earlier. It is an act or instance of flubbing, and the synonym is blunder. So also blunder can be a noun or a verb. You can blunder a blunder. You can make a blunder while blundering. And flubbing. It's a good word. I think we should use it more. Please start using it. Now we have flub-dub. This seems like a word straight out of Rick and Morty. But it's not, because it is a noun from 1888. The synonyms are bunkum and balderdash. The origin is unknown. I feel like this is bunkum balderdash. It's like, that's fake. That's a lie. That's such flub-dub you got over there. Quit with your flub-dub. Now we have fluconazole. 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 It's a noun from 1985. It's an antifungal agent, C13, H12, F2, N6O, used orally to treat cryptococcal meningitis and local or systemic candida infections. Oh, there's a lot of stuff there, and I don't know what to say about it because I don't know about this stuff. Fluconazole, you take it orally. It treats this kind of meningitis and candida infections, and it's an antifungal agent. So those things are maybe made from funguses, and it's going to get rid of those funguses. Fungi? I'm a fun guy. Now we have fluctuant. Fluctuant, that's how it's pronounced. Fluctuant. Fluctuant. Adjective from 1560. Number 1, moving in waves. Fluctuant. Ooh, and we're going to get a related word right after this, right after these messages. But first, we got to go to number 2 for fluctuant. The synonyms are variable and unstable, like my brain. Number 3, being movable and compressible. The example is a fluctuant abscess. Ooh, an abscess that's fluctuant. It's you can move the abscess around. You can compress it. It's not solid. It's fluctuant. And now, with that word, we must move on to our very last word. It is the word fluctuate. Fluctuate. It is a verb from 1634. We are starting with intransitive. Number 1. I should read this whole thing with a fluctuating pitch. To shift back and forth uncertainly. Number 2, to ebb and flow in waves. Now we have transitive. Oh, some of you probably really hate this. I'm so sorry. I can't help it. Transitive is to cause, to fluctuate. The synonym is the word swing. Yep, that's it. It's just like, well, what's going to happen? Is it going to go this way? No, it's going to go that way. Of course, the only thing I can do this with is my voice right now. This could be anything. something swinging, something that's uncertain, ebbing and flowing, waves, ups and downs, blah, blah, blah. Fluctuation is a noun, and fluctuational is an adjective. We got some etymology here. It is from the Latin fluctuatus, which is from the verb fluctuare, which is from the word fluctus, which means flow or wave. From fluere, and there's more at the word fluid, because fluids, they fluctuate. They flow, literally flow in a pipe, flow down a river, in a stream, in a brook. They also make waves. It's all related. The fluids, the flows, the fluctuation. Fantastic. All right. Because we did all the words, you know what that means. It's now time for a word of the episode. What do you think? What do you like? What's your favorite word? Today we had flowerage, flower bud, flower bug, flower child, flowerette, flower girl, flower head, flowering dogwood, flowering plant, flower people, flower pot, flower power, flowery, flow meter, flown, flow sheet, flow stone, flaws, FLOZ, FLSA, flu, flub dub, fluconazole, and fluctuant, and fluctuate. 2 ands. All right. I think I must pick flower power, which is 2 words, as the word of the episode. Flower power, it's non-violent. That's the best way to protest, baby. Why do I put baby at the end of my songs? I don't know. Yeah. We live in a weird time politically, and I think we gotta bring back flower power. Will they listen? Will they? I don't know. Is this stupid of me to even think this? I don't know. All right. Yeah, I can't get into that right now too much. My brain hurts. So what instead I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about another movie that I watched. We went to see Mickey 17, which is a very fun and sort of goofy movie, sci-fi movie that takes place in space on another planet. And it's based on a book, so I'm very curious to know what the book is like. Not that I will ever have time to read it, but I think you should. It tells the story about a guy who signs up to be an expendable, which means that they will put him in dangerous situations knowingly, and he dies, and they have the technology to reprint him as his body was when they first scanned it, with all of his memories and everything, and then hilarity ensues. But there are some really interesting statements on things, like political statements and other stuff, ethics and things. So yeah, worth a watch. It's a very fun movie, yeah. Don't know. Right now I don't have a ton to say about it, but I quite enjoyed it. Mickey 17. Okay, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you very much for checking out this show. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.